Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. It's the first day for college football this year. Go Hokies. Like, I'm in Alabama, so it's okay if I wear camo. I just can't do the Alabama thing. Sorry, not until my son starts going to college there in 2 years, but that's a whole nother discussion. So, lots been going on. And so what I wanted to talk about today, because it's something like last week I talked about forgiveness and kind of having a hard time with it, but working my way through that one. It's storming here. But I wanted to talk about fear too, because I'm like very terrified of this new lifestyle that I've suddenly found myself in, where I really have to think about how I'm going to pay my bills, because they're going to keep coming every month, and I still have the kids to take care of, and I have animals, and I, have a house that I would like to stay living in, and, when we were both working and making great money, we could live in 2 states and still have money to do whatever we wanted to do. And so that's not the case right now. And I have a couple of different ventures going with like sales, and then I'm starting my own business, and I have the blog and a couple other things but I'm just kind of in this in between right now that's really stressful. And I think that's like really all I can think about sometimes is this utter fear of I don't know how I'm going to make this work. But God tells us 365 times in the Bible, do not be afraid. That's one for every day. So if I was actually going to take the time, I'm sure somebody did if you Googled it and wrote out 365 verses about do not be afraid, then that would probably be kind of helpful. So if somebody wants to find that for me and send it to me, cool. But I'm like afraid, and it's kind of weird. Like if I know what the Bible says, and I know God's going to get me through it, and I know his plans are for good, and I just don't see it right now. That's the thing. It's like what I know is not necessarily what I see, and that's the problem. I have to redirect my vision somehow. But I mean, there are so many verses I could think of off the top of my head, like Joshua 1:9, the Lord will never leave you or forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:8, again, do not fear, do not be dismayed, because the Lord your God goes with you wherever you go. Isaiah 43:1 is, do not be afraid, for I have redeemed you. You are my people. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, guys, so I haven't like completely nailed it, obviously. What's the second Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. Perfect love casts out fear. Don't know how to understand that one. As soon as I figure out what that means, then I'll do another one of these, but I don't know what that means right now in my current situation. And then in Psalms, David talks a lot in Psalms about how God is his rock and his redeemer and his shield and his sword, and and I don't want to take these out of context, because a lot of these were written for God's people to like go into battle or hold their ground or take the promised land, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not applicable to waking up tomorrow. God's already in tomorrow, right? Like God is with you. He never leaves you or forsakes you. He goes ahead of you. So God's in tomorrow, right? God's in next week. He knows how I'm going to pay September's bills, even though I don't. I know I can pay some of them. I don't know how I'm going to pay all of them. But I'm just so afraid. And it's kind of embarrassing, right? I mean, I'm going to be 40 pretty soon. And I have to figure out how I'm going to pay bills. I might have to borrow money from my parents. That's super embarrassing, but that's reality. So if any of you guys are struggling, me too. Same, fam. I got you. And I am trying my best to not be afraid. But I also know that God's not going to bless laziness, right? Like I have to actually make an effort and do things for him to actually bless the work that I'm doing. So I am trying to stay motivated as far as that goes. Like instead of letting myself get depressed or stay in bed and hide, I'm trying to get up and actually like put the work in. And it is it is what it is, right? So I'm just afraid, and I thought I'd be very transparent. Like, there are all those Bible verses that talk about don't be afraid, and God's in front of you, God's got it figured out, and I just have to have faith in God, and I do. I don't want to diminish my faith in any way, shape, or form. It's just hard right now. So I definitely have a very real fear of my finances over the next couple months. But I know it's going to work out somehow, right? It just has to. I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills every month leading up to this, and somehow it's always worked out. So I'm afraid for certain things. I'm sure you have things that you're afraid about, and I don't know what they are. You can share them or not share them, that's fine. But I just want to let you know, this has been on my mind for a couple of days now. And so I just thought it'd be easiest to be transparent and tell you that's the honest truth. And if so, I hope that somebody gets encouraged by this, that you're like, oh, I'm sucking too. And you go look up some Bible verses. Maybe you're the one that finds that 365 verses about don't be afraid, and you share it with me and all of our friends. So if this helps you think you can get through it, because I know I'm going to get through it somehow, then great. That's honestly the end of the game here. It's just hopefully helping somebody else out. So let's not be afraid, right? Like, we have our own armor. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. We have our own armor to fight in, and mine needs to be logic right now. And I need to get my act together, and I need to fight. And God's going to be in front of me. So I just have to believe He's already in tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. And He is for you too. Bye, guys.